So first is the tokens in the Python. Now the startup, we call the tokens as the smallest individual unit in any program, right? That can be a smallest individual unit in a program, you can say, right? That will be termed as a token, or many times we say it as a lexical unit, right? Sometimes it is called as a lexical unit. So what we'll say that the smallest unit in the program is termed as token, or what I said is lexical unit. All right. So in Python we have 5 kind of tokens, 5 different kind of tokens, right? And what are those? Let's see. So we can say Python has the following tokens, right? And what are those? First one is keywords. Second, we call it as identifiers. And I think we have discussed this. These are nothing but just the names. The third is the literals. Fourth being the operators. Fifth being the punctuators. And that's it, right? So these are the things particularly, right? I'll give you a brief intro with this example, right? And what I'll be discussing right there, right? Okay. So let's take a small example for this, a sample program. I'm audible to one, you all right?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So let's say for a or I, or let it be any variable for I, and something like range of 1 to 10. It is numbered from 1 to 9. So if a is divisible by 2, 1, leaving the remainder as equals to 0, then print the a, that is print the value of that variable, so the numbers, whatever it is, right? So I'll be getting definitely 2, 4, 6 and 8, right? That's it. 2, 4, 6 and 8. So with this program, what I mean to say, now in this program I want to identify all the 5 things: punctuators, literals, operators, identifiers, there's what is that, keywords, right? So all those things. Now how can I define what are punctuators, what are the things, right? So I said for now we have discussed that tokens are the smallest individual unit, right? So all these are the smallest individual unit in any program. We have all these things, right? Most of them in terms, right? So in this program we have all of them. So everything is like a smallest one. If we talk about this for is a keyword, right? The bold letters, whatever you can see. In, if we talk about in is a keyword. If is a keyword, right? These are the keywords. So first one has been the keywords. Next we talk about punctuators. Now what are punctuators will go on later, right? What are punctuators will go on that, right? That we'll be discussing now. But if we want to identify here punctuators, we'll say it as like this colon, we can call this as punctuators. The comma, these all, right? These all will be the punctuators. Then the operators, what can be the operators? This is an operator, this is an operator, right? 2 operators you can define up there. Now identifiers is something like I have written there in the bracket, that is names. Okay, so what are the names here? This is the name A. A is an identifier. A. This is an identifier, right? So that's the thing. Okay, fine. So, and the rest, what is left? Literals, right? So, literals you can say on like the numerical things, 1, 10, 0, the numbers 4, and all. Those are the literals, right? So we'll go in the like definition kind of thing and we'll understand this. So first, starting up with the keywords, right? So I think we have discussed the keywords in the data science one, but still, let's go on again. So keywords, what are keywords? Yes, you could answer right now. What are keywords? Mm-hmm. So these are nothing but some of the special names. One second. That are already present in Python and have some specific functionalities used in specific functions, right? Or basically you can say on like these are predefined words, better, right? With special functions that would be nice, or meanings, right? Okay, that is a basically a keyword. And how many keywords are there in the Python?
35.
P5. Nice. I'm not going with that length right now. So these are the keywords, right? So if we want to import this up, we can write import keyword, and then we can go for finding up like keyword dot kw list. So let's bring the total keywords we have equals to oops, we got an error. And we have 35 keywords over there, right? And what are those is there in front of you right in there above. Now if you want to get help of any keywords, what you can do, to get a description about any keyword, you can use the function help, right? Like help of any keyword, let's take as, or let's take for, is that the, oh sorry, inside the codes you should write up and see there is a description for the for. That would work better, right? So this is right, you can use it there. Okay, keywords are over. Coming next. So next is the identifiers. We need to talk about the identifiers. Now what are identifiers? I wrote something over there like as kind of names, right? So identifier are the names which are given to the different part of the program or the code, you can say, right? Now that can be a variable, that can be an object, that can be a function, it can be a list, dictionary, and so forth, anything, whatever you want, right? So identifiers, you can say, are the names given to the various, you can say, on different. This can be a variable name, an object name, a list, a set, a dictionary name, and so forth. Whatever you want, you can name it out there. Okay. So that is basically an identifier. Like for example, for instance, we can say, like, if we say x is equals to 100, x is the identifier, right? So like that, we can like identify things. Now let's take an example for I in Python. Print I. I'll be getting Python, right? So here the I is exactly the literal. Okay, sorry, I is the identifier. Now we'll be talking about the literals. What are literals? So as I said, the numeric things or the data type, sorry, not the data types, the data items which is having a very fixed value or a constant values are termed to be as the literals. So you can say literals are the data items which have a fixed and a constant value, right? So what are the literals we are having in Python? So in Python we have the following literals. Let's say the first one is to be the string, right? Ultimately, like string will not be heavy, like having a definite values, but a string literal is a sequence, you can say, or a sequence of characters which is surrounded by a quotes. Like it can be a double quote, or it can be a single quote, it can be even a triple quote. So triple quote in like gives you basically multi-line strings, right? So string literals can be single line, multi-line. That depends, right? Okay, so we can say this literals as the data items, and we have the very first as the string literals, which can be, or very easily we define it, anything under quotes. Next we define as numeric literals, like 1, 3.4, or like complex number, like that. Next we have Boolean literals, true, false, 1, 0, Then in the last we have some special literals, and this can the answer can come here as like many a times we'll be seeing none, we'll be seeing a tuple. That can be also special literal types. Okay, that can also come over there. Alright, so these are the literals, right? You can take any examples for that. Now, there are some special kind of things, some special functions for the special characters. Most of the times, I can give you that. That is right. So, the very first one is this backslash. You know, what is it working? This is like when you give this work as a backslash. Whenever you use these things inside a string, I'm talking about for that time. Like if you want a single quote, you can just give this like this. Most of the time you get confused like what is exactly for this, right? Same like if you want a double quote, you can give we'll be also using /n for a new line. Right? Some of the very important things I've given there, right? But in new line things you can create.
So actually, what is slash r represent?
Mm-hmm.
Slash r.
Carriage return.
What is that, sir? Actually,
See, I can give you that example. Like, you get it more understandable. Like, if I say print string string with /r. Okay, and print string and width. But you can see the difference. The string width, first is the string and then the width. But if I write here string /r width, what I'm getting?
so the width is including the str.
Mm-hmm.
Then the many letters. WITH, so replacing
Width, and then width, after width
null.
only ng, right? More examples. You'll be getting it like if I say like let it be A B C D E F G. Okay, in between like wherever you use a /r, let it be. Getting the examples D E F G. Right. So like these are the non-graphic characters you can say, right? So what is it? What is the working basically? This returns to the carriage. Now, like how can I give you what is the carriage return? To say basically, we can say it as uh, like a new line character or new line is like /n basically.
Like replacing the word with that.
That the correct word is like you can say what is that called as escape character, you know, like okay, something like that even. like in what you can say, like, see, wherever you will be using this R, you can get a escape from there, like you can say up like it will remove or it will shift up the characters from there, right? Like we have used A B C R D E F G, so from here it will shift all the things, like from the new line you can say up, right? This is the working basically, like okay, let's take one example more. If I say slash R, so like it will shift the things there, and then you'll be getting the outputs. So like it will start up from wherever you shift the things, right? So GHIJ, and then it will go again, like from the last one where it is the before the two ones, right? Like that, right here also if you see, yeah, this one. So width is there for the first, and then with the last two things. Okay, if I could get a help over there with this. Is there output of this? Yeah, particularly we call it as escape one. If I could get an escape fill character, the correct word is not going right.
Sir, I think it replaces the string.
Mm-hmm. No, for replacing we use replace function. Like if we have something a string and want to replace something, so you can write just replace. Like if you want to replace that something like s with a big S, you can use this, like, and you get a replacement over there. We have that function. For this strings, like if you have numbers from here and you use R anywhere, so you'll be getting 90 over first, and then like you can say, this is not a particular, this is a numeric type first of all. So okay, A B C D E F G using R, so it's like E F G D, right? So like that it works particularly. The carriage return we say it like okay, let me check what I get in the net if I write search. So what is that? Slash R, right? What is slash R working in Python string? Raw string is something like escape. R prefix is present a character backslash include without change, and all backslash are left at the string. Yeah, literal. Oops, not like that one. Okay, should go there with this. ASCII carriage returns. Examples, where are the examples? Not still.
It's okay, sir. I got it.
1 minute, let me
Like
see.
what it is, at that meaning I got. It's okay.
What is this? This is okay. I'm not getting the correct word. Let's see if I get it. Like give you the meaning. But whatever it does, it like goes with a carriage return, or like you can say like somewhere I got some ASCII carriage return. Okay, fine. What is that work? We'll let you know, fine, later. You're getting something. what I can describe you, like return, then GE shift. It first shifts the word from where you have used the slash r. First, it will escape or backslash or like remove everything from there, and then will give you the before two characters of that string, like that you can think of. Okay, all right, fine. Moving up, right? Where was I? In the new line. Okay, so that is some of the functionalities of like slash and all working. Okay. Moving up next, we have operators. Now, what are operators? We'll discuss it quickly. Yes, what are operators? What you can say? What are operators? Hmm? So these are basically the tokens that trigger some computation or actions when we apply this to the variables, right? Simply, we can say these are just the symbols that can be used for any not mathematically, basically for any of the operations for doing some computational things and all, right? So, in a very defined manner, we can say these operators are the tokens that trigger some of the computation or the actions which, when applied to any variable, right? Now, how many type of operators are there? Yes, quickly, one. Answer:
Five.
arithmetic, then assignment, then hmm, bitwise, then identity. Someone said relational,
Logical.
logical, membership, lot of things, right? So these are the operators basically. If you see the example, one example of all this. So arithmetic can be given as like plus, minus, multiplication, kind of. Where is that division sign? You can take it like this, division, and a lot more, right? With this assignment, I can, yeah, we can give it as like equals, or you can give plus equals, minus equals, right? Like that. You can take it even like that. Give it up. And the bitwise, the shift happen there, so you can use the and in the bitwise. You can use this. But probably I think that will work and make and or a not bitwise. Like identity, you can give like is or is not. There is only two of things, is or is not. Relational examples, that is boolean one, relational, finding the relation between like if it is equals or greater than, less than, not equals, something like that. So greater than, less than. Logical, we talk about and or and not. Membership, we talk about in, not in, right? That. So this can be like the various of the operators. Now coming up to the next thing, that is punctuators. What are punctuators? This have been discussed in the college.
No, sir.
Oh no.
So I have one doubt. What is
Yeah.
the difference between identity and the membership?
Mm-hmm.
Difference between identity and membership.
Identity and membership. Identity is one is used for like finding up the locations. Like you can check like if X ID, you know ID, the
Oh,
locations what we check. So that
the
can.
keyword is present. You use this keyword is present or not. That's nothing but identity.
Mm-hmm.
If the keyword is present, if you want to know the keyword is present in the help box,
Hmm.
say that you just type is dot or the name
No,
of the keyword.
in.
Then what is this user? Like
See,
where is it?
yeah, there like if I say X is equals to, for an example, if you take it there, what is that? This is equals to 100 and Y is equals to 100, right? Okay. So what is does this returns you a boolean value first of all, right? That will return you a true or a false. Now it will return you true if both the variables, like whatever I have written X and Y, if both the variables have or are the same object, you can say same object, right? Like if I say print X is Y, that's true, right? Because the X is same as the Y, or Y is same as the X, whatever you say. Like if I take a list over there, A, B, A, B. Is that? Hmm? Okay, 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 okay.
Actually, why it came, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Why it is false? Both at the same time.
No, actually, see, if I look onto the ID of X, that's what I'm checking. X and Y. Locations, let me check the locations first of all. 767676576576. Okay. Everything is same? No. See, there is a difference between this location and this location. But this location and this location is same because I have given equals, right? So it goes for giving you the values according to the location. No, the values respectively, and then it compares like if the object is same, and then it gives you the values respectively. Like here I have written like z is equals to x. Like if I say x is z, I'll get the result. So why it returns you the false is because x is not the same object as y, even if they are the same content. You know, x is not the same object because the location is different. Got it? So to demonstrate the difference between is like it is not x is equals to y. If I say that x is equals to y, that will be a true thing. But x is y will not be a true thing, right? Because that is not the same. Like locations are not same over there. Identities are not same. That is like ID. That is why we call identity. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So where I was punctuators. Hmm. So I was saying punctuators or something. Punctuators. Yeah. So these are symbols that can be used for any programming language to give some to organize some structures, sentence structures. Sentence structure in any programming language. Okay, so examples could be like hashtag, slash, uh, power. If we talk about for the examples, you can say single quote, double quote, the slash, backslash, parenthesis, like square brackets, at the rate. Like this can be the symbols what we use basically in any programming language for making something as a complete sentence. We use these things, right? A code particularly that is like punctuators called as. Okay. Yeah. So that's like all the basic tokens have been clear. I think like punctuators, operators, literals, identifiers, and the keywords. This combined of the tokens. So that these are the five small things which comes like in the very first topic in Python. Right. Next we coming up with the second topic, comments. Now these are just used to describe a block of code. That's it. Right. What's the topic running in the college?
So he might start classes and objects.
Hmm.
Classes and objects.
Okay. Okay.
We're going to start from class.
So these are of two types. One we say as single line comment, and the other is say as multi-line comment. Now let's take the example for that. And that can be placed anywhere, you know. Okay, so today is a match between CSK versus, I think it's DC. So that can be a multi-line string. Okay, like that, and that can be placed above the code, beside the code, below the code, anywhere, right? Next important thing, what are variables? Yes. What variable represents? Good answer. Okay, fine. So it represents you the reserved storage or of any like locations, or these are just made to store some values. That is what it represents. So it represents the, you can say, the reserved storages, and is made for storing some values. Like a equals 10, like if I can give a equals 10. So we have various ways of writing up a variable, of writing up a values for like a equals 10. You can give b equals 20, c comma d. 40 comma 40. Like various ways are there to write up the variable names like that, and you can print all at a time B, C, E, with the values 10, 20, 30, 40, and stuff like this. Okay. So, have you been given that this can be one of the method for writing or storing up a value? Have you been introduced with this method of what is that called as semicolon, or like this multiple method of storing the values? How many
Yes,
methods
sir.
we have been given? Only one or like more than one?
Like 2 or 3.
Okay, fine. That's nice. So this is variables, right? Next we come up to like the very basic function that is called as type function, right? That is where you check the data type, whatever there is in Python. Okay, where we check the data types, and that can be used the type checking used for checking the type of the data, basically, or the class. Integer, float, whatever it is, you will be getting up there. And you can get an help of this just by writing what is that type. That is the answers accordingly, right? So what exactly are the data types in Python? How many data types are there? Let's first
7.
discuss the very first important one, that is numeric type. So inside this, it contains a number of various types basically. The very first you can say it as the integer, that is particularly called as int. Next we have something called as float. And many a times we also call it a random, but it is not a data type, it's a module over there. So it's better like not to write up here. So these are the three things like given in your numeric data type you can define over there with all such things. So let's go with one by one. So integers. Definition of integer, what can be there? A quick one with that. Yes.
The positive and negative numbers. Whole numbers.
Whole numbers. like that. Okay, so you can multiple assign the values, multiple print the values, multiple you can go with the class of the values. Similarly with the integers, we have something called as float. Here what we can say,
The real numbers.
or yeah, better would be the real numbers. Okay, so like A, B, C, and something like more you are getting none. You can see that is what we discussed somewhere. One special keyword, that is none. Literal, sorry. Okay, getting up the values respectively. And the last what we'll discuss today is like complex one, working with the complex ones. And what we say is a complex as the number made up of real and imaginary parts, a combination of a float, integer, or a string, like variables. Something like this in the form of a plus bj, where a is the real part and b is the imaginary part, right? And next important thing, for any complex number, like if z is equals to a plus bj, z dot real will give you the real part of the number z, and z dot image will give you the imaginary part of the number z, right? So these are the things to focus on. Let's see. So let's take complex numbers. Let's say 45j, 34.5j, 34.5 plus 8j. Okay. Now, so the number is x, right? The real part is x dot real and the imaginary part is x dot imaginary. Got it? Number is 45j where the real part is 0 because there is no real part, but the imaginary is 45j. Similar to this, number is y, real is y dot real, and the imaginary is y dot imaginary, like this. Okay, so number is 34.5 plus 8j. The real part is 34.5 and imaginary is 8.0. And like this, we go with the complex numbers over there, right? So tomorrow we'll start up with the random module. Okay, so let's write up first of all the random thing. Tomorrow we'll be going up with this random module. So before coming with tomorrow with the random module, what you can do is you can go with the help of like identify some things over there for the previous. You can get to other things, what the descriptions and all, like how to deal up with the random things and all. Tomorrow we'll be going with the random first of all, then we'll be going with the operators, then the typecasting, then the input functions, and then we'll start covering the strings, okay, then the length function, the comparison functions, sorry, the operators, boolean. So quickly we'll complete all the operators. Then we'll go on that what are the type of printing any variable, right? So printing methods will be going on. Many a times you get some like if x is equals to 10, you have various ways to print this x. How you can print x equals 10, right? You can print x equals something what you asked today. You can go with print x equals like this. Okay, I think you got my point, what I'm trying to say. So there are a lot of printing methods. We'll be going in that one too, right? Okay.